Hey, Do's and Dudettes. Today, I want to talk to you about omens. I have had my own experience with omens, and I think of this as an important topic because it is very important that we pay attention to the signs that we are given from that are given to us from the universe. You know, whether it be from the universe, from the Creator, God, Goddess, our spirit guides, our ancestors, relatives who have passed away. Things trickle down from the spiritual realm into the physical realm, and they manifest onto us as omens. And we are given these signs in order to be able to learn from them and to be able to grow from them. So I want to just discuss the different types of omens that exist and how to recognize them. And I also want to go over some of my own experiences that I've had with omens. I'm going to be reading from a book, not the whole entire time, but just pull some points from this book. This is one of my most favorite books. I'll just show it to you. It's Witchcraft, Theory and Practice by Lara DeAngelis, and she's from Australia. I bought this book a very long time ago, like several years ago, when I first started my practice, and when I actually have to reread it because it was a bit of a heavy read, packed, loaded with information. And I like Lara DeAngelis because, she's not afraid to look at all sides of the craft. So it's not like a fluffy version of witchcraft. By the way, witch just means wise one. Being wise, if you're going to delve into something, you should know all that it entails. So this is an awesome book that's packed loaded with information, and she does travel to all sides. So she does discuss omens in the books, different types of omens there are. First, I would say there are several different types of omens that can exist. There can be omens where they come to you in a dream, or they can come to you by way of another person. They can come to you by signs through nature, whether it be through the sky, the elements, animals, plants, or where wind blows. Nature can decide to speak to you in an omen that might just make sense to you. It doesn't have to be, one that is already classified or categorized. It can be something that would make sense to you because it has a type of connection to you. The reason why we receive omens are for guidance, and a lot of times we're receiving signs from nature, but a lot of the times we don't pay attention to them, or we just think, oh, that's a coincidence, and lots of times they're omens, and omens usually come to guide, and sometimes they also come to warn. So it's very important to be able to tell when it is that something is an omen. And a lot of that can just be, deciphered by using intuition. Because the omen is connected to us, and if you have that gut feeling that it makes sense, or if it just connects to something that's going on in your life, a lot of the times you can tell when it is an omen. Okay, so I'm going to crack open the book now and just read a little bit about what she has for omens. So she says, an omen is like a link to a forthcoming event. Your connection to all things and all times, past, present, and future, means that at some level or another all that is occurring everywhere in all time zones. So what she's saying here is that we are connected to everything. We are not a physical body with a spirit. We are a spirit with a physical body. Our spirit actually creates our physical body. And because our spirit is part of the divine, our spirit is connected to everything that the divine created, all realms, be it physical or spiritual. There are several different realms that the body, the that you exist on. There's a realm of the mind, there's a realm of the soul, there's a realm of the spirit, there's a realm of emotions, there's a realm of physical realm of flesh. So we are in the universe, there are those realms also. So we are connected to all those realms, all of those cycles, and time within itself is a cycle, which is how we can be connected to what she says, past, present, and future. And all of it is here with us, but we're all vibrating. It's all vibrating on a different level. That's why we can't tell. We can't see it physically with our eyes, but when you attune to it spiritually, you might be able to feel it, or to, come out of your physical body and on a spiritual level be able to experience those things in their vibrational realm. So what is relative to you can be recognized by you through a medium that is not you. And this is called an omen. So an omen is obviously going to be connected to you. So that's why, like I was saying before, intuition is a major way in which you can tell whether or not it is an omen, because it's connected to you. So it's going to automatically impact you. It's going to automatically make you feel a certain way and make sense to you. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, you will get some type of feeling about it, because it is a sign that is for you and it has been sent to you, so it is directly connected to you. So then she gives examples of omens. An adrenaline attack out of the blue for no obvious reason that is 20 minutes in duration. It's a field of something or someone passing by you. Take note of it. Do not go looking in your own head to find out what's wrong. Just do it quick, but definite. Do a quick but definite scan of your life to ascertain whether there's anything unresolved or dysfunctional. If there's not, then it is someone or something else's trouble. So if it's she's saying that if you get that type of feeling, that is someone passing you by. It's a field of something or someone passing you by. And sometimes it could be your spirit guide, it can be your ancestors, or just an energy that is sent out as a warning to you to make you pay attention to what's happening. So and this type of omen mostly would happen in a situation where you are already in a situation and something is about to happen. And if something is not about to happen to you, then it's also can be a warning that it's about to happen to someone else. Let's just say, for example, you're at a beach and you get ready to step your foot into the water, and then you just feel that rush, like she said, adrenaline attack. That will be an omen warning you, hey, pay attention to this feeling, something is about to happen. If it's not a good feeling, then you might not want to step into that water, or you might want to warn the person that's next to you. So something like that if you're very, very in tune with your spirit, you can also, could be, accompanied by a vision, but just the feeling in general. So the second example she gives is a total stranger comes up to you in the street and says one or two distinct sentences to you and continues on. When you look to see where they are going and they're gone, take note of what was said. Chances are they are not from our recognizable reality, meaning that could be a spirit guide that manifested unto you, or an ancestor that manifested unto you if you believe in angels, just a form or an entity that manifested unto you to tell you something or warn you about something. That will also be an omen. A sequence evades your day. The same or similar things are said by seemingly random people. Your awareness of patterns of the sentence puts you on alert. So, like she just said, a certain message keeps coming through you through certain people, and that is not the only way that messages can come to you. Say someone says, I was, getting an omen about something that was going on. You're getting an omen about something that's going on in your life. You had questions about a guy that you're with, or about a relationship, and you're wondering whether or not you should leave this person, and then someone just says something to you that is related to that, not about your situation, but is related to a situation similar to yours, and it speaks to you. And then let's say you go home and then you turn on the radio and a song comes on that repeats the same or that is repeats the same message that person said, or is similar to the message that person said, you know, and then you walk by and you hear someone's conversation and they say something that's similar to what that song said and what that other person said, like that's a repeating message that is coming to you. So you should learn how to pay attention to those things. Okay, so this is another one, is you see fleetingly someone you know again and again, only to realize it's someone else. You'll either be contacted by that person or you must make contact. That could also happen if, like me, because I'm very intuitive and psychically aware, so that can also happen to you when in your mind. Also, you can see it, like you could daydream about that person, or you like see someone like oh, you look like that person, or oh, is that person, think that that's that person, and then that person is going to contact you, or like they said, there's a reason why they're on your mind, and you should contact them. You dream of someone you know well. Tell them what you have dreamed. Sorry, it's been a long day and I came from work, and yeah, I'm reading like I'm mentally challenged, but I'm not, I promise you. Okay, you dream of someone you know well. Tell them what you have dreamed. This message will be important to them either now or soon. So that is an omen in a form of a dream. It can be for you or it can be for someone else that you know well. And she said it's important that you relay that message. Uncommon cloud formations, changes in the atmosphere, unusual things with birds, ants, spiders, cows are easy ones. All important weather changes. Now, for the things with nature, it could be just something that the animal does or the insect does on its own, an action that it does, or it can actually be that insect or animal, whatever it is, it can be that thing, not the action, but the actual animal, or so that actual animal might symbolize something. So in a case like that, you can have a dream of a bird or an ant, whatever, and in a case like that, you might have your own definition of what that bird or ant was, depending on what it was doing or whatever it is you think about that animal. Or if you have trouble like deciphering what exactly it was, you might want to get a book to help you, see what the common definition, definitions for those animals are, what they usually mean, what it usually means when you see those animals. So, because, they can have several different meanings, or it could just be, something that it was doing that makes sense to you. I'll give you an example of something someone told me before, or something someone mentioned, that a mother had a child who is sick, and she had a dream about her child, and the child threw up in the dream, and out came a rat. The child threw up a rat. Knowing that rats mean endurance, and if you look at a mouse or a rat and you look at how they have to live and how they have to survive and everything that they go through, a rat, you can see how a rat would, it mean just from its being, what could mean endurance. So that would mean that he would have to endure a lot, or that he'll be able to pull through. So just being able to make those connections to those type of omens too is very important. So you might want to buy a handbook. Glimpsing an animal or bird and intimate or rare expressions of interacting are called gifting omens that portend joyous experiences or powerful realization. I've never had that one. Next one is waking deep within the night without apparent reason. Someone will have called to you. Open yourself to contemplation. I'm going to tell you that happens to me a lot, actually. And I just wake up and I'm like, when that does happen to me, sometimes I feel as if it's a spiritual presence, just like waking me up. So that's interesting that she would say open yourself to contemplation. I haven't read this book in a while, but that's interesting that she would say open yourself to contemplation, because if you can open yourself enough, if it is a spiritual guide that's waking you up, you open yourself enough, then you can receive the messages that they're trying to send to you. And if you are dreaming, also you're in a state where you're in a different state of awareness. Your brain, there's different patterns, brain waves that the brain goes into, theta, beta, alpha. So if you're dreaming, you're in a different brain wave, and you can be more receptive to receiving messages while you're in that wave. If you want to journey spiritually, whether it's through like astral projection or just journeying the spirit world, you put yourself in a sleep-like trance to get to that point. So just that shift and that change in awareness can make you more open to receiving messages from the other realm. So that is why she would say to open up yourself and to contemplate. Okay, so the next one is the overwhelming desire to encircle yourself or your environment. Do it. And then the next one is the overwhelming desire to get away from whoever you are with, to be alone, to work, ceremony. Do it. So that's all the different, those desires pretty much. That desire would be intuition, because intuition is big omen. And then she says, it's all Jia. Omen and portents are looping tools that the Jia will use automatically to enable it to fulfill your destiny. It's all natural. It's as natural as a function of your heart beating. And if you didn't know, Jia is a word that is used to describe the higher self. So these are all messages coming from the higher self. The higher self, your spirit, it's all connected to the divine. It's all connected to everything that is in the divine realm, and therefore you can receive messages from the divine realm. And again, if you want to pick up this book, it's Witchcraft Theories and Practice by Lizzie Angelus. And the top says rituals, spellcasting, and sorcery. Trying to see if I could get a picture of the author. She's awesome. I don't have a picture in here, but yeah. So I don't want to make this video too long, but I'll just give you one example of an time that I got an omen. It was a long time ago. I'm not gonna tell all of it, but I'll just give you a little snippet of it. I was going through some things relationship wise, and it was affecting my performance in school. That was the time that I was in school, and I was sitting on the train. So another omen, like she said, another omen, if like she said, it's a person comes to you and you don't know them, but they say something that relates to you, connects to you. This is, and sometimes it usually happens. When that happens, it's usually at a time when there's not a lot of people around. So I was sitting on the train. It was late. I think I was working at a restaurant as a waitress around that time, and it got off on a late shift, so the train was pretty desolate. And this man got on the train, and he just was like talking, and I was like, oh gosh, crazy man on the train. And then he sat across from me, and there was also some self issues that I was going through. But he said to me, he goes, your beauty is in your roots. And I was just like, okay. And I remember at that time I was wearing my hair straight. I had it chemically straightened. And I was, like I said, I was going through some self issues or whatever. That I didn't really fully know yet until, I grew stronger as a woman and started accepting myself as a goddess and accepting everything about myself and learning not to change anything. So, and he said, your beauty is in your roots. And I'm like, my roots, like the roots of my hair? I don't know exactly what he was talking about. I'm just like, okay. And then he switched what he said, and he said to me, don't let him get you down. And I don't, and like I said, it was several years ago, but it was something to that effect. Don't let him get you down. Don't let him drag you down, like that. And then looking back on it, I think it was around the same time I was reading this, and I have a lot of instances like when things like this happen, and that's what I was saying, like being aware, spiritually aware, and being able to receive the messages that are given to you is not a coincidence. that I had an omen at the same time I was learning about omens, and that stuck out to me a lot. Something else like that happened to me, another omen that I'll tell you about. Okay, one more I'll share. So then I was like, oh my god, and then I was like, oh, I was like, okay, and I like looked down at my book, I looked up, he was gone from the train, gone. And later on, that made sense to me when I analyzed it. When he said, your beauty is in your roots, he wasn't talking about the roots of my hair. He was talking about my heritage, my roots. And he was telling me not to look for my beauty in anyone else's ideals or what anyone else says is okay, or to compare myself to anyone else, because I am a unique being and my beauty is in my roots. And when he was saying, don't let him drag you down, he spoke directly to my situation about, how being with this person is obviously bringing you all these bad emotions and it's affecting you and your achievement. So don't let this person pull you down. It's obvious what you have to do. So that was one example. And I'll give you another example of an omen that occurred while I was reading a different book that I actually have over there. I'm not going to get it. It was a witch school book. I think it's by Reverend Donald Lewis. And in that book, they were talking about France. They were talking about vortexes, which are areas that, contain energy. And they said how in France there's a vortex where you can go to this place and the energy is so great and you could be healed. And it's so funny because I was on the train, I believe, with my uncle at the time, and I was talking to him, and I had the book in my hand, and it said witchcraft and whatever. He's like, oh, you believe in this stuff? And I was just like, yeah, I believe in it. And there's a man who was sitting across from me, and he said to me, he goes, do you know, and I wasn't talking about the vortexes, but he said, do you know that, and because he was foreign, he was from France, and he was like, that he lived in France, and his mom lived in France, and he's like, that his mom practices the witchcraft, and he's like, he said, I'm a healer, and he said, there's places in France where people come to be healed, and he said, I'm a healer, and I was like, oh my god, I was just reading about that in my book. And then he said, I get the sense that you're a medium. And at the time I was like, I'm a what? He's like, a medium, like a fortune teller. And I was like, and then he's like, oh, you should develop that. And I was just like, oh my god. Like the two things like being connected like that. And I was, I love divination. Divination has always been the thing that I was interested in. I've used to get visions, stuff like that when I was younger, but I wasn't really being adamant about developing my skill. And he said to me, you need to develop that skill. And I didn't know, and he told me about myself, and he told me about something else, that I was just learning about. So that is my examples of the omens that I'm going to share. Okay, and I'm going to end the video here because I don't want it to get too long, but I hope that you guys were able to take something from that, and that, it'll be able to help you in some way. So, pay attention to those omens, dudes and dudettes. Till next time, peace, love, and blessings.